1. Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
So Valerie, my beautiful wife and fellow real estate broker, recently had our second son. Baby Ben was born a couple weeks ago, and our house is just absolutely chaotic. There's people coming in and out, bringing food and just showing love on Valerie and just supporting our family as we, go through the sleepless nights and everything that having a new baby boy entails. And somebody made the comment the other day about how our house was staged so nicely. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's an absolute disaster. There's diapers everywhere, changing pads, and a lot of toys. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Your house is staged monster truck chic. So they're just joking with us because there's a lot of monster trucks in our home. But speaking about staging the home, we have Sally and Vicky with us today from Premier Home Staging and Design. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hi.
So would you agree with that? Is that a professional staging term? Home, like monster truck chic?
Sometimes it can be quite themed.
Yes. We had a stager that we knew of that was grandma chic, grandma coastal chic.
Grandma coastal chic. Yes. Love it. Okay.
Grandma glam.
Grandma glam. So you are both professional stagers though?
Yes.
Right, with Premier Home Staging and Design. And how long have y'all been doing that, respectively?
I've been doing it for approximately 9 years.
So Vicky, you've been doing it 9?
With Premier.
With Premier.
Yes.
Wow.
I had some other experience outside of that.
Okay.
And I'm going on 4 years.
4 years. Wow. So in all of those years, combined, what is that, 13 years combined experience with Premier Home Staging and Design? What are some interesting things that you've seen or like staging transformations? Do you have any great staging transformation type stories that come to mind?
Yeah, definitely. When we have go into a preview and you see somebody's home that's either being packed up to move or maybe they haven't moved anything yet, and you just notice all the furniture that they're living with. And so you have to kind of look past all that and decide what furniture would be best to accentuate their home, and then be able to specify all that furniture, get it all in the truck, and then bring it back in and make their home just a totally different look.
Sometimes I go into those homes that have been staged, whether it's the builders or like stagers like yourself, and I'm like, man, I want my house to look like this.
That can happen.
Have you ever had like people come home after you've staged a property and be like, oh man, I want to live here. Forget it. I'm not selling the house anymore.
All the time.
That's the ultimate compliment.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate compliment. So how long typically does it take for you to go in and stage a property and complete that transformation?
About 4 to 5 hours, depending on the extent of the
size of the home.
Yeah.
How many rooms we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just the staging part of it. Obviously, there's like 3 steps to it.
Oh, what are the 3 steps?
So first we go out and preview a home. And that's where, we write our design notes on what furniture, what design layout, what art, what accessories are needed for that design. And then we go back to the warehouse, and then that's another day of prepping for it. So we go through and we tag all of the furniture.
So you don't keep all the furniture in your car all the time?
No, wish we could, though. We love it when our boss sends us options. Multiple consoles.
Good old Nicole.
Yes. Yeah.
So the step 1 is you visit the property and you kind of get an idea of what you need. Step 2 is you
prepping for it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then stage day.
Okay. Wow.
So total, you're looking at about an hour to preview the house. And then prep is usually, again, depending on the size of the house, can be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And then staging day can be anywhere from 4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6. Man, they say moving is one of the most stressful things in life. Yeah, and that's what you two do for a living. Yeah. Essentially moving furniture in and out of homes. Yeah. But you've been doing it for so long, you enjoy it. What's it you enjoy most about the job?
I enjoy the transformation. So I do both. I do staging and design. So,
what's the difference?
So the difference is staging. We are staging it with photography in mind, because these houses are going to be photographed and listed on MLS. So we want it to be an open floor plan, just very minimal, or not minimal, but, just not overly cluttered.
Like the tall things that are going to obscure a camera's shot.
Yeah. So we keep all of that in mind when we're staging. And then with design, it's more tailored to
The user.
Yeah,
family.
Exactly. Their family. And with staging, it doesn't have to make sense. And with design, it does, because you have people living in the house. Staging is just purely
interesting. Yeah. So staging, it's all about the looks.
Yeah. So that TV is not actually where that cable is coming from.
Got it. That's a good point. Yeah.
So,
okay. Staging and design. I never even considered there being a difference. And then design is like, hey, these are the colors I like. These are the furniture style I like.
It's tailored more towards the homeowners and what their style is exactly.
Okay.
So it takes much longer to design a home, because you're having to get approval for everything. Whereas with staging, I go in, it's my design, and we go back to the warehouse and pull it all together. Nobody gets to say yes or no.
Got it.
I get to do my thing.
It's a blank canvas and you're the painter on that one.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Otherwise, you're being like, what is it called? Commissioned? If you're commissioning a painting, it's like, hey, I want the self-portrait, Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And so when you are going into a home and staging it, like what stands out to you when you're walking a house for the first time? Because like when I go into a home as a real estate agent, I'm like, oh, there's dry rot. Oh, they're going to need to do this. Oh, they're going to need to do that. Or wow, this is really incredible. Like, is there anything that stands out to you when you're walking through a home for the first time?
There's several things that stand out. One, how clean the house is. The smells that come with it.
Oh, the smells. Yes.
the lighting. A lot of light bulbs that haven't either been changed or they're not the same color.
It's like easy fixes that have just been neglected over time.
The smoke detector that's beeping every few seconds.
I just pulled the batteries out. Yeah.
And just the light fixtures that are missing light bulbs.
So when you walk into like a friend or family member's house, are you like, do those things jump out at you? Or do you turn it off?
Oh, it's always on.
Yeah.
It's always on.
I move furniture at my friends' houses all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
I've done it even at Airbnbs. I'm like, that art needs to be lower.
Okay. So what's the correct height? Because I've heard feedback from clients where they're like, oh, they came here and they told me I need to move my photos. Like I need to change the height of them.
Yes.
So what's the correct height? What are you looking for there?
So again, it's a little different with staging than with design. But I mean, ultimately it's eye level. But with staging, you go a little lower, and maybe with design, you might go a little higher.
What's the benefit to it being lower for staging?
It's just all photography.
Okay. So it just makes the ceilings look higher when the art's a little bit lower, or
it just feels more connected to the room. So when it's too high, you get too much of a wall gap.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So now you need to go home to your monster truck chic and make sure
monster truck chic
a little bit lower.
Oh my gosh, yes. So this is just fascinating because like you've worked with the Tom Daves team for about 5 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that correct? So in those 5 years, like, man, I mean, but Tom and I partnered a while back, but we've sent you out to a lot of homes. Mm-hmm. And what we appreciate about working with you is that you're able to go in there and give a professional opinion, because marketing a home and determining the price and doing all that is very different than going in and staging a home. Like, it's a completely different skill set. To me, it's like somebody who does heart surgery and somebody that does knee surgery. Like, you're both doctors, but they're completely different. And so when you go into these homes and you're inspecting or like giving the consultations, is there anything that if you would want the the client to know prior to you going in? Like, hey, if they only knew this, it would make their life so much easier. If they only knew this, it would make the home sell so much faster.
Mm-hmm. I think the idea that less is more, that if they are really planning on moving, let's get packing. Most people live with much more furniture than they actually need, and it doesn't do the home justice to have so much furniture.
Got it.
Sometimes we're putting just a side chair in the garage or something just because they want seating for family and things like that, but we want to show the space of the room.
We want the room to look larger.
Yeah. So you don't want to walk into a crowded room because then you automatically think, oh, there's not enough space.
Where's my stuff going to go?
Yeah. Or you get distracted by their personal items, clown collections and things like that.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking the clowns. It's such a thing. Clowns and those little figurines. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everybody. How do you handle those conversations though? Because this is their home. This is like where they go to get away from everything else, and it's their sacred space. How do you handle those conversations?
Very tactfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are as gentle as we can be, but being honest, and we just kind of explain to them, when I go to consult a house, I'll tell them, you know what, we're going to get your house photo ready. Less is more. Which means that we're going to have to, take away some furniture, take away some knickknacks. It doesn't have anything to do with your style or any of that. It's just we want to maximize the space in this room.
It's not a personal
and depersonalize the house so that prospective buyers can, envision themselves in the home while they're looking at it.
Yeah.
So
that's such a good point.
They're usually receptive, but sometimes, people do take a little bit of offense, like, oh, my furniture is not good enough, or, and I just reiterate, it doesn't have anything to do with your style. It's just,
But that rooster collection will look really nice in the new house.
Yeah,
it'll
look good.
It needs to be boxed up.
It needs to be
great.
boxed up anyway.
Yeah.
You're moving.
Exactly.
So,
And that's exactly.
And it can be distracting for, potential buyers.
Correct.
So,
we always tell them you'll be ahead of the game. You'll be, partially packed when the house sells.
I love that. Yeah. And that's a good point. So in the next segment, we're going to be talking about homes that were on the market, did not sell, and you came in, you gave some design suggestions, some staging suggestions, and we were able to get it sold. Back after this.
If you're struggling financially right now, you are not alone. Times are tough for a lot of people. Like Steve in Roseville, he needed some extra money fast. So he decided to sell his property and gave our friend Johnny Jennings a call with the Tom Daves real estate team. Johnny guarantees that he can sell any home. So Steve knew he'd be able to get the money he needed, and that's exactly what happened. Johnny Jennings and his team was able to get Steve multiple offers and even sold the home on the timeline that Steve wanted.
So if you've been wondering what kind of offers you can get on your home, now you can find out. When you talk to Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team, you can reach out at 855-TOM-DAVES, or you can go online to tomdaves.com. That's Tom, DAVES.com. You are not going to regret working with the professionals, Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team. So give them a call today. License number 581-837.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So I'm here with Sally and Vicky with Premier Home Staging and Design, and we are talking about staging. A lot of agents, you've probably seen some stuff online. You've probably seen some shows with, was it Chip and Joanna Gaines?
Yeah,
that's one of them.
I have never watched a single home show. Like, not once. Not a single realtor show. Not a single Chip and Joanna thing. Like, not once.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's the truth. I don't know. Media is not my...
Have you watched Selling Sunset?
I've heard about it. I don't even know what it is. What is it?
It's
reality show.
It's a reality show.
It's a reality
on a
realtor show?
brokerage,
Yeah.
that they sell houses.
in LA.
And sunsets? And rainbows and dreams?
Yes.
right? So we're talking with Vicky and Sally with Premier Home Staging and Design, and we're talking about staging. This is reality. This isn't a reality show. This is real life because you deal with how many consultations would you say you go on a given month?
Oh,
It's like 4 or 5 a week.
yeah, it could. Yeah,
20, 25.
So, yeah.
Sometimes we're double booked.
Wow. Yeah. So so in a given month, you're probably seeing roughly 20, 25 homes.
We see a lot of homes.
We
Yes.
see a lot of
It's hard to keep them all straight.
You're seeing a lot of homes. You have a lot of experience, and when you're going into homes, you probably, correct me if I'm wrong, have you ever been asked by a real estate agent, "Hey, come in, please, just give a consultation. Like the home isn't selling, and we really need some professional advice on how to stage the home." Has that ever happened?
Yes, it has.
It has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that common, or is that like uncommon? Do you prefer to go in before the home is staged? I guess let me ask this: do you prefer to go in before the home is on the market, or do you prefer to come in and save the day? Like, what's easiest for you?
It doesn't.
I'd say before, but
Why would you say before, Sally?
well, just because they're new to being on the market, so you can make those initial changes, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the positive of going in after it's been on the market is to see if the staging really works. How
That's
quickly.
the testament. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. So I hear what you're saying, Sally, where it's like, hey, clean slate, let's just get it done. Let's do it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But then Vicky is like, well, hey, here I am, Superwoman, watch this. Right?
Right.
So have you had any stories like that where it's been where the home was not selling and then you're able to stage and get it sold?
Yes, just recently, a realtor called us in to come help. It was a house that had been on the market for approximately 8 months and was not selling.
8 months in today's market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a long
Yeah.
time.
It was a beautiful home, too.
Yeah, it was. It was a very large, custom-built home with beautiful views of Folsom Lake. I mean, it had everything going for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a couple that was living there, and they were very meticulous. Their house was very clean, and they had some very expensive furniture and art pieces that they were very attached to. And they were actually having a house built down the street. So they were just, I think they thought that they didn't want to pack anything up because then it would have to go into storage. They wanted to just
move.
keep everything where
Yeah.
it was until the house sold and then just kind of bring it down the street and move it into their home.
Yeah.
So they were very reluctant to take away any of their art pieces or, remove any of their furniture.
And they were probably nice. Like they spent a lot of money on that stuff.
Yeah, they were very
It was
nice. They were very stylized, very specific style to, what
Their
they
taste.
Yeah. So anyways, so I went in there and made some suggestions of pieces that we could bring in. And like I said, the homeowners were very reluctant and allowed us to bring in minimal stuff.
And this is after 8 months on the market.
Yes.
They're still, I'm not comfortable with the situation.
Right,
Wow.
right. But I kind of convinced her. And so we brought in some lighter accessories,
And pillows.
artwork and pillows and a few pieces of furniture, again, because they didn't want to remove any of their heavy pieces.
Well, let's back up a second. What did you say to convince her? Like, what was the concerns that she had that you were able to overcome and say, hey, this is going to help you?
I just explained to her. So the feedback that she was getting from other realtors and prospective buyers was that the house was too dark. So the walls were painted kind of a darker olive green. And I mean, the house had windows, so it wasn't like it wasn't getting that natural light, but their furniture was dark. So they had, dark rugs, dark sofas, dark coffee table, dark walls.
Just absorbing all
I
that
just,
light.
Yeah, I just
Makes the rooms feel smaller, doesn't it? With all the darkness?
Yeah.
It can.
Yeah.
It can. This house was extremely large, so it did not feel
gosh.
small by any means.
How many square feet?
I want to say it was approximately 5,000.
Oh, yeah, that's a big home.
Yeah.
That's bigger than the trailer I lived in going to college, for sure.
So anyways, I just, explained to her that, we wanted to bring in some lighter artwork, and she was very hesitant to take down her artwork, but I did convince her. I told her that I would try and keep the holes down minimally, the nail holes.
That's right, because you like to take the art hanging a little bit lower.
Yes. Yeah. And their art was hung a little too high. So anyway, she agreed to it. I think, she knew that she needed to do something different. And the realtor really had my back. She really was wanting to change it up in there.
So did you meet with the realtor, the sellers, and you all at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was probably a big help.
It was. So anyway, so we brought in lighter, like I say, lighter everything. And 2 days later,
what?
The house sold.
2 days?
Yes.
So it was not on the market. It was on the market for 8 months. Mm-hmm. Did not sell. You come in, stage it. 2 days later, after staging it, it sells.
Yep.
What was the feedback? Did you get any feedback from the buyers or the agents that showed the property?
Yeah, they thought it looked great. They even had buyers who saw that there were different pictures on the MLS, that there was, there were some changes. So they had repeat prospective buyers come back through to take a look at the house again.
Really?
But anyways, the
new owner,
the new owner, the person that bought the home, actually purchased almost everything that we brought into the house. So
not only did they get the home sold, but the new owner was like, "Hey, I want this stuff.
Yes,
this is perfect."
Yeah,
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Question: I don't know the answer, but did it sell for a premium price, or did they have to slash the price?
No, I don't believe they slashed.
They didn't slash it. So it sold within 2 days for asking price. Yeah, because so many people are scared about, like, one, it's the personal aspect. Like, they decorated the home, they take pride in that. But also, like, the cost involved with staging a home. So many people are like, well, I don't know, is it worth it?
Well, we always say it is it's less expensive than your first price decrease.
Ooh, that's strong. Mm-hmm. That's such a good point.
It is.
So that 5,000 square foot home is a bit of a outlier. The typical home isn't 5,000 square feet in our area, but when you do go into a home, what is it you typically like? What are the rooms? Do you stage all the rooms, or do you only stage a couple of the rooms? Like, how do you typically go about?
So we typically our basic package consists of 5 focal rooms. Which would be the family room, the living room, the dining room, kitchen with kitchen nook, and then primary bedroom.
Primary bedroom, got it.
And then all bathrooms are complimentary. So depending on the size of the houses, I mean, some houses have the extra flex space of, a bonus room or a loft. And so, that would be an additional room if they felt like they really wanted to stage that. Some people like to include an office in the home, especially today with so many people working from home.
Yeah.
So that would be additional. So, it just depends on what they're trying to show that house has.
Okay.
So it can range.
So do you have to, like, if somebody was thinking, hey, I'm wanting to stage my home, but maybe I don't want to stage the whole thing, or is it recommended to do a couple, like, rather than 5 focal points, do a few more or less?
No, typically that's our basic package. We don't really, it's not really worth our time to go in and do anything less than that. So that's our basic package. But on a small home that doesn't have much more than that, sometimes we'll go in and just stage the entire home.
Got it.
That way we don't leave that last room empty.
Yeah, it would look a little odd on a smaller home.
If it's like a little 3-bedroom and we want to do an office, that 3rd bedroom will get done. So that way it's a complete home.
So interesting. Your guys' ladies' job is so interesting. So when you're staging a home, you do focus on, so you provide options though for your clients, right? As far as staging goes, like both, you can stage a vacant home and you can give guidance on design for owner occupied, because some people are still living in the homes that they're selling. Yes,
we do consults for owner occupied, and then we stage vacant homes.
Got it. And that's so here with Made for More, that's honestly what we use you primarily for, is to go in and provide that consultation, because it's been proven time and time again. Like you mentioned, the price reduction. I love that line, because normally people want to drop it $5,000-$10,000, and staging is way cheaper than that.
It is.
But what we always say is that homes that are staged correctly take better photos, show better online, and ultimately sell for more money.
Right.
Correct.
And so like if you're thinking about making some repairs or doing some renovations to your home, sometimes just don't even do those things. Just bring a stager in. You don't even have to do any of the work. They get to meet you lovely ladies, right? You come in, you give them the design work, and then 6 hours later after the day that the furniture's installed, it's done.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Well, when we come back, I'm sure everybody has questions about costs and what all this includes and how to go about contacting you. So we'll cover that after the break.
Mike, as a dad, I'm always trying to teach my 3 kiddos patience, right? Slow down, wait, which can be really tough when you're a small kid and when you're trying to sell your home. Oh my goodness, it's so tough to have patience. But that's why we recommend working with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team. Like for instance, Brian, he had his home on the market with another agent for almost an entire year. It wasn't selling. He lived in a rural area. Then, of course, he reached out to Johnny Jennings and was able to get multiple offers and a fast close.
That's what happens when you work the professionals of Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team. They will help get you multiple offers on your house and maybe even a cash offer. So if you're curious, what kind of offers could I get on my house? Or, like I said, maybe you just want a cash offer and be done and move on. You got to call our friend Johnny Jennings at 855-TOM-DAVES, or you can go online to tomdaves.com. That's Tom, DAVES.com. You are going to love your experience, and they're going to take great care of you.
License number 581837.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Man, the cost of things are just out of control. I'm honestly tired of talking about inflation. Are you too tired of talking about, like, hearing about inflation and just everything that's going on in the news and pricing?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. So I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but people are very price conscious right now because just everything's so expensive. Valerie, my wife, and I have this long-standing joke. We've been married coming up on 11 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And when we first got married, she was joking with me about, like, hey, do you even know what things cost at the store? Like that old game show, The Price is Right. I would 100% lose. But I would win the game show, The Price is Wrong. Like, hands down, I would win that. And when we started, when we were married, she's like, you don't even know how much eggs cost. Like, how much would you think a dozen eggs costs? And I was like, I don't know, $1 an egg, so like $12. She's like, and she was like laughing at me.
That's a COVID price.
She's like, that's ridiculous. But now we are. Eggs are getting pricey, you know?
Yeah.
And so everybody's just paying attention to pricing. And so when somebody goes to sell their home, there's a lot of costs obviously involved in that. There's the realtor fees, the closing costs, taxes. Good old Uncle Sam's going to get his piece. But then if you tack on staging, a lot of people are concerned, hey, is it worth it for me? Is that if I spend this money staging the home, am I going to get that money back and then some? And that's why, like, I'm a firm believer in staging. Like here at Made for More, we are advocates of staging a property because they've just been shown to sell faster and for more money. Like, hands down, you know, without exception, your home is probably hands down, without exception, your home is going to benefit from staging. But there's some different options when it comes to staging. So the first thing that we do, it's like, we're such believers in this. Every single seller we meet with, we give them the option, say, hey, what we recommend is you have a home readiness consultation. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
A home readiness consultation with our stagers, Premier Home Staging and Design. Mm-hmm. And they'll walk you through on how to get your home show ready, because homes that are staged take better pictures, show better online, and sell for more money. And so when you're walking through, so there's a couple different options. Do you mind walking us through that? The first option is you go in and you provide the consultation, because unfortunately, like, it doesn't make sense to stage owner-occupied homes, correct?
For us, yes.
For us, yeah.
For us, yeah. And would you mind some people are not sure why. Do you mind sharing a little bit, like, what's the, why wouldn't you want to do that?
Well, typically people are living in the home still. And and there may be kids, there may be animals.
It's wear and tear.
It's wear and tear on our
furniture,
on your equipment, essentially.
Yeah,
rugs,
pillows, our soft goods. It's just you end up getting that pet smell in them, and we can't reuse them.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just cost prohibitive. It's essentially what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So for those people, but a lot of people are selling their homes and they need to live in them until they sell. That's where the home readiness consultation comes into play, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And so when you're going through the home readiness consultation, what are some typical things that you recommend? Like we've talked about lowering the pitch. Like I'm not going to be able to unsee it. Like here in the studio, there's pictures everywhere. And I'm like, oh man, this should probably be a little bit lower. But we talked about lowering photos. What are some other tips that you have?
So basically, when we go in for those consultations, we are trying to stage the house with their items. So we will give suggestions of rearranging furniture, removing furniture, lowering art, centering furniture on windows or
like a deep
chandeliers.
Clean. Yeah.
We recommend deep cleaning the house, cleaning the windows, interior and exterior.
Making sure the light bulbs are all the same color and they all work.
Yeah.
That's a pet peeve of mine when I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh,
it's
come on.
those light bars in the
light, and they have so many. Yeah, they have so many lights.
There's like 12 and there's like 6 that don't work and the other 6 are 2 different colors. You're like, okay, let's go buy a dozen light bulbs.
Yeah, we can fix this. This is going to be worth it.
It's just distracting. Yeah.
Correct. That's a good word, distracting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then depersonalizing. So we recommend them taking all of their personal photographs down so that the prospective buyers can visualize themselves in the house. And then without being too nosy and going into their cabinets and closets, I just kind of give the suggestion that they be minimally
organized and packed up. So
have minimal in there, because subconsciously when somebody opens up a closet or a cabinet and it's full and not organized, they think there is not enough storage in this house.
Oh, absolutely. Like when you walk into new construction homes, they have like one robe hung there. Like it's this huge walk-in closet and there's one robe.
Yes.
And so we get it. If you're living in the home, obviously you need your clothes. But if it's summertime, do you really need all the coats and boots and all that stuff?
And that's what I suggest. I say to keep the items that they use the most. If there are, we all have items in our closet and cabinets that we don't use. It's just where they are.
It's where they live.
Living.
Or they've gone to die, depending on the situation.
So that's when I say pack it up or purge and get rid of it. If it's something that you don't need, you'll be ahead of the game, at the end, and you'll be partially packed.
You're right. You're moving.
The load will be lighter.
The load will be lighter. The work's done. Yeah. And it's really an opportunity, to purge, as you say. My wife, so I do this thing where once a week, typically on Sundays, I try to find something in the house to donate. And the problem is that sometimes you get in that purge mentality. Have you ever experienced that where you're like, oh, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. And next thing you know, it's a week later and Valerie's asking where all these things are. And I did not. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Val. So anyways, purging is definitely a benefit of moving. You get to lighten the load. But many sellers, in my experience, are very uncomfortable with the conversation of depersonalizing. Like this is still their home. Like they're still emotionally attached to it. But there's also some instances, particularly like law enforcement, where they want the home depersonalized. Like they don't want their family pictures on the internet. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about depersonalizing, like what does that mean? Like in detail, what does that look like?
It's just taking down family photos off of the walls, or, if you have frames on your shelves. And it just allows the buyer to picture themselves in the homes. But it's hard when you have all of these other people living in the home.
You're looking at their family experience, and it just can be distracting. Like just clearing off the refrigerator of all the kids' art and things like that. So
I used to not get the fridge thing, but now that I have 2 kids, we're getting drawings up there. They're not drawings, they're scribbles.
They're Picassos.
Yeah, Picasso, They wish they were Picassos.
And And then a lot of times there will be like personal signs that say something.
Like politically or religious.
Yes,
Like
that.
live, laugh, love.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Or, what's another one? I don't know. A sign that says family, and then they'll have their photos underneath of it. Or those types of things we recommend taking down.
And clearing off like bathroom counters and things like that. So it's just the minimal stuff that are,
Yes, depersonalize. That would go along with like taking all of your personal products off of your countertops in the bathrooms and out of the shower, because nobody really likes to see that, And so when you take those items away, it seems like you're looking more at a vacant home than a home that somebody's
You get to see the
in.
countertop. You get to see the mirrors and things you're not distracted by.
And you can envision putting your things in those places as a buyer. So, quick story. Valerie and I traveled all 50 states together.
Nice.
Before deciding where we wanted to live. Spoiler alert, Roseville. There we are. But we, in that travels, the whole western half of the United States, we did it in a 1988 Toyota pickup with a camper shell on the back.
Okay.
And so I made this little bed, for lack of a better term. It was basically a piece of plywood that would go over the wheel wells. And so we would sleep on the bed, and then all of our camping stuff and all of our stuff would go underneath. And our little dog, he would stick his head through the window when we're driving down the road, but then we put him in his crate in the cab. So that way Valerie and I, because 1988 Toyota pickup, we're not talking about a full-size truck here.
Right.
Like it's very small. But so there was always this stage where, hey, we have to have all the stuff. We have to have the air compressor. We got to have the clothes. We got to have the food. We got to have the propane. We got to have the ice chest. We were packing this car up. But then when we got home, we always had the task of getting everything out of the truck, because it didn't make sense on the day-to-day life to have all that stuff with me all the time.
Yeah.
And so when somebody's selling a home, it's kind of similar. Like, yes, you live there. You want all the soaps. You want all the clothes. You want everything because that's easy access in the moment. But right now you're going in transition. This is not forever. This is just for right now.
Yes.
And so just purge, depersonalize. It's not
pare it down.
pare it down. It's just for a spell. So it's kind of like
a season.
It's just for a season. Yeah, exactly. And so when I'm starting to see a lot of people. Have you seen any of this stuff online where people are talking about, this is my home, my space. Like I'm going to paint the walls whatever color I want to paint it, and if the buyer doesn't want it, then they're not the buyer for me. Have you seen any of that?
I've seen it, but that's them leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your house, your rules, but just understand the consequences maybe of what.
That's usually something else that we recommend at the console is if there are any brightly colored walls, we always recommend bringing them back to a basic color.
A neutral.
A neutral.
So this is a good point. So when I've been doing this, I got licensed in 2015, and there were a lot of browns, like real estate beige was the neutral color. What are you seeing as the neutral colors now?
Well, it's been a gray or a grayish, which is a combination.
Grayish, I like that.
Yes.
A mushroom, if you will.
But it's actually, that trend is going away.
The real estate beige or the grayish?
The grayish.
Okay.
The gray. And it actually is going, a lot of people are going white.
Yeah.
Just
a warm white.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's happening.
The names of these colors are just hilarious to me. What is a warm white? Like,
it's a white that has some warmth to it. It's not stark.
It's not clinical.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we're all looking around, but it's the radio.
These are warm lights we're under.
Okay.
But if
that's a white light.
That's a white light. So if all the lights were that bright.
So you'd want a warm light.
Yeah, you don't want it to look sterile.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of people are like, hey, like sometimes sellers will say, hey, I know we want neutral color, so I have the painter coming out. They're going to do that real estate beige. I'm like, hey, hold up.
Whoa,
hold up. So not real estate beige, maybe not even grayish,
correct,
but more like a warm white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I learned something new. So, all right, well, thank you so much. Coming up next, we have our last segment where we're going to be talking about the history of Premier Home Staging and Design and how they can help you.
Mike, I feel like one of the reasons that my kids are generally happy is because they trust me. They trust me and mommy to provide and take care of them and protect them. And so they have that peace of mind. And I think that's true for all of us. When we can trust someone, we get that peace of mind. Like, for instance, selling your home can be super stressful. But if you have someone like Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team, you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress out because he's going to take care of you like he did for Jessica and Austin. They wanted to sell their home in Orangeville and buy in Granite Bay. Thanks to Johnny Jennings and his amazing marketing strategy, it was super easy. The process was fast, and they sold the home in the very first weekend, had multiple offers. And you know what? Johnny Jennings can do the same for your family.
Yeah, so get that peace of mind when you call Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves real estate team at 855-TOM-DAVES, or you can go online to tomdaves.com. That's TomDaves.com. If you're curious what kind of offers you can get on your home, or maybe you just want a cash offer and you just want to be done, they can take care of all of that. Johnny and his team will make sure that you are taken care of and your home is going to be sold and you are very, very happy. Again, 855-TOM-DAVES, or go online to tomdaves.com. License number 581-837.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we are back with Vicky and Sally from Premier Home Staging and Design, and we have covered a lot of ground so far today. We have talked about staging transformations, how different they can look, with just a couple suggestions from you two, and just a couple of just five-ish rooms staged, how it can totally transform the feel and just the value of the home. In fact, there was one story where we talked about where a home was not on the market, or was on the market for 8 months, did not sell. You come in, you stage it, minimally staged it, and it sold in 2 days. So that speaks right there to the power of home staging. And then we also talked about just getting the home ready, that sometimes you don't have to do full-blown staging, that sometimes there's just certain strategic things if you focus on that can help with the presentation and the overall quality of the way the home presents, and the quality of those offers as well. Yeah. And then so in this last segment, let's discuss more about, you mentioned earlier the difference between staging and design. I didn't even think about there being a difference. But just recap briefly, what's the difference between staging and design?
Staging is getting the home ready for photography, and design is tailored towards the people living in the home. Got it.
So staging is more generic. It's more for the masses. Design is for you, like the homeowner. Yep. And so when you're working with clients, you've told stories about how people who buy the home say, hey, can we buy it with the furniture? You did such a great job. Can we buy it with this furniture? Have there been instances where you've staged their home, they're the home seller, and they're like, hey, I'm moving to Folsom, or I'm staying local. Would you mind staging my home before I move in?
Yeah, we get that a lot, where they want us to come in and just design their home with their furniture and make it look like
we staged it.
Exactly.
Lowering all that art.
Make it look like the magazines.
Yep.
Lowering the art, exactly. I hear you. So what's the most, what's probably your most memorable client? Is there one that just stands out, like you did lots of work for this person, or the transformations were so drastic that you'll never forget the experience?
Yeah, we had a client that owned approximately 6 homes in the area. And wow. He started with his personal home that he was living in. The other ones were rental homes. And the one that he lived in was a nice custom-built home, very large, with views of the lake. And he had us come in and stage the home for him, and he absolutely loved what we did. And so then he called us back for, each one of his properties one by one. His ultimate goal was that he was going to move to Hawaii, and he was going to build a home in Hawaii, and had actually said that he wanted us to go to Hawaii to help
that's
him.
Awesome.
That was going to be so exciting.
Yes. Yeah. We were hoping that was going to happen, but he didn't end up moving to Hawaii. So.
Wow. Well, that just speaks to the quality that you provide your customers. right? Not only did you do the personal home, but you did all the other homes as well.
And they were all different calibers, like his personal home, and then, each rental had its own challenges, but they all came to a...
Yeah, and after each one, he said, "Oh, well, gosh, the house looks so great. I don't want to sell it now. I want to move back into it."
Like you said, that's the best compliment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point where sometimes people think staging is more like they see it on the television or they see it on social media and they think it's only for the luxury homes. But condos, regular single-family homes, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet, those can all benefit from staging, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so whether if you're listening to this, you're watching this, you don't have to live in a 5,000 square foot home to benefit from staging. Sometimes the homes where I see the biggest bump are those condos because there's such limited space, and if they can just pare down what they have and live in the home, or if they can even better be moved out and be able to stage the home fully with your furniture and your design, then those are the homes that I see like the most drastic transformations. Because a luxury home is like, it's beautiful
on its own.
It's beautiful on its own, but the smaller homes, like it really, really improves the overall value.
Yeah.
And speaking of value, like if you Google is staging worth it across the board, like if you're just scrolling through Google, you'll see yes, 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 yes. Realtors say yes. Realtors say yes. And yet it surprises me how many people do not include a stager in the conversation of selling a home. Like they'll talk about marketing, but they won't include staging in that conversation. What are your thoughts around that? Like should stagers be involved in selling a home? Like in that process?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they should.
I know it's kind of a loaded question because it's how you get paid.
Yeah.
But if you just Google it, like there's stats that say, hey, homes will sell anywhere from 5 to 10% more than an unstaged home. Mm-hmm. The thing that gets me is if you walk into any new construction home, any builder, are those homes staged or are they not staged? Right?
We actually do a lot of homes for a builder in the area that he'll have us come in and stage all of his homes. I mean, even though his homes are brand new and beautiful,
yes,
they look so much better when they're staged and they sell so much faster.
They sell so much faster. So, I mean, if a builder's willing to do that, and builders oftentimes work on tight margins, but they see the value in bringing in staging and hiring somebody like yourselves to do that. If they see it, then why would it not work for you as the regular everyday homeowner? It's so important. And so if you're interviewing agents and the realtor is not talking about staging, not having the conversation, or at least having somebody come out to give recommendations on staging.
Just do a consult. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you travel all over the place. That's what I love most about Premier Home Staging and Design. Sometimes I'll send a request and I'm like, I wonder if they'll do this place.
We're always good for a boondoggle here and there.
A boondoggle.
Yes.
Word of the day, boondoggle. Is that a technical staging term?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Well, now it is.
Now it is. Oh man.
Sally loves her boondoggles.
Yeah, but so whether you're living like local, like Sacramento, Roseville, Rockland, Folsom, Granite Bay, obviously those areas are covered. But we've had you do consultations in Shingle Springs, Pollock Pines,
Immigrant Gap.
You did Immigrant Gap? Mm-hmm. Yes. For those of you who don't know where Immigrant Gap is, Google it. They cover it. That home ended up selling. And it did not sell previously. It had been on the market once, maybe twice before, and it hadn't sold. But, with your help, we were able to get it sold. Oroville. I think you've done Oroville. Have you been to Oroville?
I have.
Yes.
Okay.
We have.
Oroville?
Separately and together.
Yeah.
So it just, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about selling your home, just give Premier Home Staging and Design a call, because not only can they help you, but it's going to net you more money. That's at the end of the day. What do I talk to sellers? What do they want? They want their home to sell in timeline they want, and they want it to sell for the most amount of money. Nobody wants to leave money on the table.
Nope.
Right.
So call Premier Home Staging and Design. And then also, if you're living in your home and you love it and you don't want to move, you provide the design consultations as well. So we this is a smaller scale, but Valerie and I recently, our pantry was a dumpster fire. Like it was just like, looks like a toddler had gone in there and just totally messed everything up.
Yeah.
And then, a full grown man had gone in there and I just gone in there and messed everything up. And we paid a little bit of money to have somebody, what's it called when...
Organizer?
Yeah, that's what it is. An organizer.
Yeah.
We had an organizer come in.
Life-changing.
And oh my gosh, it looks so good. And now we get to enjoy this space for as long as we're in the home, as long as we keep it organized.
Yeah.
But when somebody needs, like they want, because when you walk into like an Ashley Furniture or Arizona Leather or RC Willey, like sometimes it's overwhelming to be like, hey, what should I buy? Will this look good in my space? It's just... for that peace of mind, it would make sense to give you a jingle.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So with that, anything that you want to add? Oh yeah. So how did Premier Home Staging and Design get started? Like, what's the story behind that?
So, it's been about 19 years in business. For 19 years,
wow.
Lori Kim Polk started the business, and she was selling her personal home. Her realtor suggested that she stage it.
Sounds like a good realtor.
Yeah. And so she learned how to stage and did it herself. And she did such a great job. The realtor was impressed. And so she started her own staging company.
That's so cool. And 19 years later.
Yeah.
And it's a family-owned business still.
It is, yeah.
Right? Nicole took it over for her mom.
Yep. Nicole Runkle is doing a great job. She's made her mom very proud.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
And something I also like about Premier is how long you've worked there. Like there's a lot of experience. You've been in a lot of homes. It's not like this is a overnight sensation, we have
history. Yeah.
You have history.
We've got some houses that we've staged twice.
Really?
The same address.
Same
that we
address.
go back in our archives and like, oh, we did stage this house.
We recommended real estate beige, now grayish. Now don't do that. Do the warm white.
Yeah,
Make sure the
but you
walls are
definitely
warm
need
white.
us to stage it again. I promise you.
Exactly. Well, ladies, thank you so much, Vicky and Sally, for being on the show. If somebody wants to reach out to Premier Home Staging and Design, just Google that, or what's the best way for somebody to find you?
Yeah, just on Google. Be great.
Premier Home Staging and Design. Or reach out to my team. They're the preferred stager for us, and so we can certainly get you their contact information. Thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you. It was
Thank you.
awesome.